good. Do you know what I mean? Learning those little tips.
Okay, so now we're going to go over our contouring now that we've got our base and we've got our concealer and our powder to seal. So, who does contouring by themselves? Who? Look at you. That bloody neighbour's child.
I don't really contour though, I just shape.
Okay, so I want you to go back to your face shape and have a look. And there's another sheet in there that has a contouring style. Now obviously I think there's 5 faces on the contouring one, and then there's also 6 on the face shape. So, I don't know if any of you marked what face shape you have.
Did we decide it was a half?
Yeah. So you want to have a look. Now this has got, not only has it got the contour, but it's got the highlight as well. But we will be putting in blush. So, who's happy to try this themselves? Or do you want me to do a demonstration?
Do a demonstration. I didn't even really know what contouring was.
Yeah. Like literally at the start of this session. Okay, that's fine. What contour do you
Heather?
use?
I just
You
use
know I'm a complete
brown.
incompetent when it comes to this stuff.
So, giving
Because I don't use blush.
What? Oh my god, there you go. That's why she's doing makeup so quickly. She's skipping a step. Okay.
Well, I've already got my pink.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I feel like because I do conceal a little bit through my redness, I hide it a lot. So,
Oh, okay, yeah, no,
so,
I don't. So I don't.
Alright, so I'm going to use Megan's product because obviously she's got it for herself.
So what are you using?
So she's using, I usually use, I've got my Contour Cocoa palette, which smells like chocolate, and I love that. Who doesn't love chocolate? But I also love, and this is another Napoleon product, and I'm pretty sure they still have it, this is good for everyone. It's called Matte Bronze. Obviously you can see I've used it a lot, but it's got that really ashy sort of tone to it. Yeah, and it was made for the fairer people because they did have a contour palette, but the contour palette was a bit darker, and the fairer people like me were like, well, it's very harsh on our skin. And this is before the contour actually sort of got quite big. It was very much like stripe kind of look, and it just wasn't nice on us fair skinned people. So they made that one, and obviously it's actually not too different from Megan's one. Hers is a little bit lighter.
So you actually buy contour makeup?
Yeah, so this is the Fenty one with a fit. So you can get something like this. I mean, this looks really awful. But as you can see, it's quite dark. This is made for a fair skin tone, believe it or not. And this is what you would do and then blend it before you put powder on. But I don't want to do that with you guys because this is very heavy. This is obviously we're doing a day makeup, so this is like you have to blend a lot, and you don't need to do this. You really don't. This is that Instagram horrible makeup and not very wearable every day. So powder is much nicer. It disperses better. You don't get a big stripe, and it's easier to blend. So I'm going to use my own brush. There's a couple of different ones. So I prefer to use one like this. It's a pinched one, but it's very fluffy. That's quite good. There is also, who doesn't have a contour brush, by the way? All of us. All of you. That's okay. Sometimes I used to use this one. I used to use this for mine. So you can use something as small as this or as big as that. Hold on, I've got more.
No, I use something like that.
So,
Yep, perfect. Perfect. This one's perfect. Because even with the flat edge, I'm just looking for my flat edge one. Here we go. Here's another one. Flat edge.
Find crease.
So this one you would use on an angle like that.
Nice on it. I didn't realise.
Yeah. Okay. So who wants to use one?
Full brush.
That one's quite big, so you just want to gently with that one.
Whichever you choose, I'm not
that
one.
Do you want one?
But I don't have contour
Oh, you've
makeup.
got a good one. Okay, so
Thank you.
when you do your contour, you want to get a decent amount of product on the tip. You don't want to be doing this because if you do that and you've got all that product, that's going to be hard to blend when you just stick it on the face. So what you want to do, I'm just going to take this way. Okay, so who knows where the cheekbones are? You know how to feel them? So you want to feel from your ear, you'll see that there's like a ridge, and feel down on an angle. So mine kind of goes along there. And even if you do have a fuller face like me, with chubbier cheeks, I mean, you can do that, but I feel like you'll get a lower line because you're pulling it down towards your mouth. You want to just go to where that bone is and then blend in.
Isn't
So,
it in my day, 'cause I'm a lot older than all of you.
but you can,
No, you what?
well, that's how you did the blush, isn't it? You just go,
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
for blush.
yeah.
yeah.
They
So-
did though. That's a stupid thing we did. That's why when you
That's
did
how
that,
mum taught.
yeah, because that's why when she did that, I
Let's
was
see,
like,
mum's never told us.
My mum never taught me either.
Oh, my
Who's
mum's
teaching how to
absolutely
teach Sophie?
useless now.
Well, that's why I want to learn this stuff so I can teach Sophie.
And it's good because you know Sophie might do dance competitions and you will have to be doing makeup and you need to do stage makeup. So these are all things that you will be able to use at some point in your life.
I've had to do it
Schools
to my
dances,
knees.
competitions.
I had a bath
Answers, no.
All right. So I'm gonna get Megan to do her other
No
side.
stage makeup as well.
No.
So see how I'm not using a lot of pressure. I'm not like at this part of the brush doing this. I'm very much like at the end of my brush, and I'm just doing light feathery strokes, and I'm sweeping up a little bit up there. And then back down to her jawline because I want to disperse the product evenly. I don't want to have like a massive obvious stripe. And then you want to come down and you can see her brow bone. Hold on, I'm going to do this. You can see her brow bone kind of comes to about there. And that's exactly where the product is. You don't want to be bringing it down because it's going to make you look gaunt. You're going to have that sort of skeletal look. And if, obviously like me, I have quite chubby cheeks. So if I did a skeleton, it's just going to look bad. And you're going to be putting shadows where really there would be no shadow. Okay, and the other place I like to do, a lot of people do this number 3 look, which is like that. So for me, I have like a little bit of my hairline goes up a little
But
bit.
that's only really on the heart. Like, that's not on the oval face
square.
shape.
Yeah, but so where my hairline is, it comes up a little bit like that. In order to disguise that, obviously I have a fringe on this side, but I still have it on this side. So I'll make my face look more oval, even though it's got that bit of a higher part there. Just do a little bit of that. But most of them have
Yeah,
this little bit.
I thought you were saying that she was an oval face shape.
Yeah, but we can still put a little bit in.
It's not a rule.
I was going to say, make it doesn't have one.
It's all about fun and creativity.
It's
So-
not the No, I'm just trying to understand
Yeah,
that.
no. I know, I hear you, and so I always just like to, so with Megan, just turn to the side for a minute. See how Megan's hairline, is a little bit higher?
Yeah.
You can create the illusion that it's not as high. So you can change, this is what I'm talking about, you can change that face shape really easily. You can turn back to face me, please. You're gonna have to do the other side.
Well, maybe a few things to do.
So you're going to do my double chin.
I tend not to do that unless it's
Since I-
really going out.
Since I lost weight, I do it now.
Really?
I
I mean, I don't want to go out, but
Yeah, no, not every day.
No. Because otherwise, yeah, you do end up with a stripe. I do this on your jawline.
Yeah.
I go.
'Cause
I dread
I-
watching these videos back, by the way. They're awful. Hang on, right. You know, I look like that from the side. I don't do that.
Side profile.
Yeah, I'm just like, not me. Right, so you can use that one. You can finish that off. Who feels confident doing that by themselves, or do you want me to sort of watch what you're doing and see how you go?
I might need some supervision, and I also
Yeah.
need possibly a product because I don't.
Oh,
you don't
do
have
you
one.
want to share?
Oh, you're probably
No,
the
you-
same too now.
I don't have
Very
one
nice.
either. So
You want to use the medium in that one?
Yeah, because the two products I asked you what they were yesterday,
I've got a
don't have them.
bronzer.
Yeah,
That's
a
the
bronzer.
same
So
as
show
a
me what.
contour.
It might say bronzer, but it might be quite cool. That's pretty cool. Does it have shimmer in it though?
Yeah.
We don't want shimmer.
Yeah,
We want
I
shimmer.
guess I have two.
So you're talking about this one here?
And I've
Now
got
it's got
this
shimmer.
cooler, but I don't
shimmer.
use that as a
Whereas
contour.
that's
I
all
use
that.
it as
Yes,
a...
yeah, but this was free.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
I
what I
see
use
shopping.
as contour.
Because
I
I
think
thought
this
this
is
was gonna make
free.
Oh yeah, no,
I
that's
have
for
to
sure.
get
That
that
No,
is
when
just
it's
like,
like
that
that
is
is
like,
I just put it right here.
definitely free.
Yeah.
redheads.
yeah, you don't have to because
This is
you,
where I
your
get my
hairline's
makeup
quite
when
low
it's
down
like
and you haven't
mascara.
got a lot of space. You don't want to
Oh,
close
no,
that off because
no.
that's going to make you
I
look
always
bad.
wondered what you did for mascara.
So definitely
Yeah,
just
I go there.
leave that.
What would you use this
that's cool.
orangey looking one for?
That is for a darker skin, and that would be.
See,
Yeah,
this is
highlight.
called just for redheads.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's where all my mascara's from.
Oh wow.
So it's from America. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, see, back when, I mean, it's not a thing now because we do have a more inclusive colour range in foundations, but when the boss that I was talking about before that was from Kenya, was very, very dark toned, and she could only get her makeup from America. That's how tan she was, or dark she was. So for her, we didn't even have those colours, and Napoleon came in a 6B, and a 6B was quite dark, but not dark enough for her. So it is better now, a lot better now, and there's a lot more inclusive colour ranges. I mean, Fenty was revolutionary because it had 40 colours, 40, yeah, all with different undertones, all with, yeah, so. Yeah, let's see if you're matching. Oh, you haven't done that side, have you?
I have, yeah.
That side's lighter.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think that side's better.
Really? It might be the lighting.
I can't see.
It's darker to me. It's darker to me on this side, but I don't know because the light as well.
No,
Sorry.
no, I can't see the difference either, but anyway.
Pardon? Brush. Put way too much on.
Yeah, if you attack it, it's going to attack you when you put it on your face. What? Use your foundation brush, your powder brush, and blend. And blend it up towards your hairline and away. Yeah. If you blend it down, you're going to get that colour going down. So you want to blend it up and away. Yeah. There you go. Fixed. Claire, yours is quite high, so your bone is right there. So you need to bring it down.
Go that way. I've never yet. I can't see because I've got no glasses on. But
I mean, we'll blend this up, but yeah, get your powder brush and blend that a little bit out.
Contour, so
There you go. Now,
I'm trying to work out what they do here.
see there.
I'm going to be really funny, Kathy.
Yeah.
Where your CPAP mask is, I'm guessing it's CPAP
Yeah,
mask.
it is.
Don't go below that.
Below my seat.
right?
Okay.
The top line.
Is that what that line
Yeah,
is?
I hate to point it out, but
Yeah.
it's a good marker, to be honest.
So that bottom, this one here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't go below that.
Yeah, don't go below that because your shadow is above that.
Do you know what I always think when people say it? I go the dirty one. You know those, what do they call
A ball gag.
Well, you are a bit that freakish.
I am not. But yeah, no, it is a CPAP
Yeah.
machine.
My mum and brother both have it, so.
I never knew.
And it doesn't
That's-
go away until like late
Late,
afternoon.
late afternoon, it doesn't, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because it was almost non-existent. I was like, oh, because I just thought maybe it was just a line on your face from maybe like not a scar or something, but maybe.
No.
Because she slept real well.
I've slept well tonight, yeah.
She does.
What time did you go to bed?
It was after midnight.
Oh yeah, I went to bed at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was up at 7.
I got home at like 2.
Oh my gosh, where were you? Sorry, man.
No, I went to the movies in Netherlands. I went to the Windsor Theatre, and then we were just driving in Cottesloe doing nothing, and then I picked Dale up from work. And then they were trying to convince me to go to the casino.
I don't know, I
That
feel
would
like
have been
casino's not very fun anymore.
Well, they would have been at full capacity last
Yeah.
night because they were allowed to.
Oh,
I did look
yeah.
pretty cute last night though. I was wearing a beanie and everything.
Oh, you have to show me. I'm never done. Okay, how do you feel about that? Did you match up?
I have no idea. I feel like I've got nothing on.
Well, that's good. You
That's
don't want
the
to look.
point.
Yeah, that's the point. You want to look like your face is a little bit more chiseled, but you don't want to look like you've got like a brown stripe because that is just not great.
So do I look
So let me see
cute?
your other side. So you want to do a little bit more on there. Did you just do one side?
No, I did both sides.
I don't know why this side seems darker to me. It might be because I'm not over the other side, but
Isn't it
Yeah.
funny? Sitting this way, I can see the lines. I can't see the lines.
I feel like it's
I've
always on
only
one
seen-
side of your
yeah.
face.
No,
No, it's definitely it's on both.
Both, yeah.
The lighty top ones.
Look at you,
Kind of.
nurse.
Well,
Nurse
no,
lady.
you would have realised it was.
Oh yeah, mum and my
What's
brother
this?
both had them.
There's like
But I
something on the
I
nose, but
wasn't
you
being-
didn't bother
I always
with.
wondered people think
I
I'm
don't
being
contour the nose.
It just seems
I
like you
feel
spend all
like-
this time highlighting
And I
around
just
the
got a
eyes
new
and then
Yeah.
I mean, if
strap.
I had someone with a really wide
Glue
nose,
together.
no one here really has the wide nose.
There's
But
an
if I
eye
did have someone with a wide nose,
Put
I
it
might
on
have
to
a
Oh,
little bit of just here. Just on these sides. But you all have beautiful noses that obviously are not
in the
going to be a
end,
concern for you. So it's no point. And I like it would literally have to be someone that is very concerned about that. And most people are usually pretty
Not
good with their nose.
you
They're
can't
used to it. It's the middle of your
claustrophobic not
face.
having it.
So I feel it's an excessive thing. But yeah, you can also use.
When you're so used to it every night.
Yeah.
See these, I only bought these products yesterday, so they're very new. But even something like this, if you want clear, because this one I think is $7 or $8. That's quite dark, but there's a lighter one. I think
So what's the light
Put
on
up
the
with
top
that.
for?
that's the highlight.
Ah.
So the thing with
Yeah, that's about highlights, but I'm pretty sure it's not the fluoro-coloured testers.
So how do you
Okay,
know what
this one.
colour to use if I went out to buy one?
So what do you mean, like a highlighter or a contour?
Contour.
So your contour, you want to be quite ashy. Like, I mean, you want something that's, see, that would be a good one for you. And this is a little bit then, because that Napoleon one I think might be $50 or $60, whereas that is $8. And if you're not going to use it all the time, I would always go a cheaper version, because you don't want an expensive product that you're never going to use. Like, honestly, pay good money for good products.
Yeah, and I'm really planning
I
to
was
drop
like,
it.
no, I love it.
Yeah, right. I'm the same. I go through these a lot, and obviously, like once they get that hole in the middle, they start to crack, and then they just go horrible. Yeah. So for you, you can go to any of your skincare counters and literally go, look, I need a contour color.
Okay.
Mecca's probably the best because they'll go, these are their product ranges,
And then
or you can buy online and go, you're a medium, so you go look for the medium contour palette, and they'll usually have something like that. They'll be like a medium skin tone or something like that.
the Priceline do the makeup consultants stuff as well.
Yeah.
If you want more drugstore, like cheaper.
Body Shop do a bit of a consultancy, but their range I found is not as good as it used to be.
My friend works for them as their makeup artist. She is a makeup artist, and to be fair, she's told me she doesn't really use their products. So, I mean, it's not that they're bad, it's just there are better products for a similar price. It just depends what you want from your products. Do you want something that is environmentally friendly and all that sort of stuff? But you know what? They still use plastic packaging. Colourpop, none of the Colourpop palettes are plastic. They're all cardboard. So once they're done, they're done. And they're vegan. Yeah, it's a different. They're vegan and all that sort of stuff. I have to say, Colourpop does not like me. I put a Colourpop eyeshadow on that had glitter in, and my eyes were watering and went all red. I used, I think, that one there, and my eyes just went horrible. So I'm very cautious about using these ones now. Those ones should be okay, but these glittery ones, I think they just stung my eye, like, sort of, because they're so rough.
Really gets in your eye.
Well, it's not. It's like kind of like not that glittery, like the one that I used, but I was like, it really burnt, and this eye was like weeping the next day. I was like, I'm not going to use them again. Those ones should be fine though, as long as it's not a glittery one. The pigments are good, in the plain pigments and the shimmers, but the glitter ones with little tiny bits of glitter, I'm using on a person ever again. Okay, so blush.
Okay.
Who is warm and who is cool?
I am warm.
Kathy's warm.
I'm actually getting a collection here, so if nothing comes back, don't worry about it.
Oh, you're just going to steal them all.
Yeah, I'm getting quite a good collection here.
So, Kathy.
Oh, that's a contour. That's a contour.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's.
What colour?
I just thought there were variations of foundations.
That's
of
what she
different
said.
people.
Oh, no,
It actually smells like chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
so
realise when
good.
you said that. Yeah, I thought you were joking.
Yeah. So all of the Too Faced stuff comes in like a flavors, and they will smell like their flavors.
Yeah.
So that's the cocoa
I
palette.
have the Amazonian clay tart palette, and oh my god, it smells.
I have the peach, the white peach palette, and the chocolate palette, and they both smell like that as well.
Disappointing.
Disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing. Yeah, but you know what? For $8,
Don't
not
smell.
disappointing. This I think was like $8.
Oh no.
Do you know what I mean? But that's your blush because you're the only warm one. Who else? So everyone else is cool.
Yeah, cool.
So
What colour should we tend to be using?
Is this what you used last night?
I think so. Is it used?
I don't know. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it's been used.
Yeah, just a little bit. So, for a cool tone, you could use, depends how pink you want to go. You could use something like this. This is my favourite one, so you guys might want to, it's a Disney one. You might want to pass this one around. It's really cool tone pink, but it's very neutral. And it's got that little bit of highlighter in it. It's very well used and I love it. It's Belle. And Colourpop is quite cheap, but you have to get it from America. So it does take a while. And they do have good sales when they do. Here's another cool pink. So if you want to go a little bit deeper.
That's like what I used to have.
The mosaics?
Yeah.
I think it's good because you can kind of, the way you use it,
Yeah.
you can just kind of,
How's yours?
on one side it's a little bit darker and on the other side it's not, and blend it.
So is
No,
that
it was.
a foundation blush with all colours just going?
Yeah, so instead
Yeah.
of being stuck with one, you have a blend.
Yeah, and you can use them individually as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to show you
Yeah.
is, if I get a blush, I'll do it with this one. Oh, jeez, that one just shed. So, okay, this is well worn. This is a Napoleon one. So, say if I was going to use this colour here, you want to use a nice fluffy brush. Circular, can everyone see that? Circular motion. And disperse it so it's just on the tip. Because if you attack blush, it will attack you. So you only want a little bit. And then when you start to apply, the smiling thing is very old fashioned. We all know where our cheek is, right? Our cheek is usually there and then go up. So what you want to do is
You did
Go
what
for
I
it.
just did.
you want to start at the apple of your cheek and move up in a circular
Can I
motion.
use this
sweeping. Yeah, you could actually. But after that, if you need to blend out anything, you can't use it because you'll have
So
pink
sort
on
of
there.
like it out there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then give me another brush.
You've got enough brushes. and
I know,
papers.
I'm taking mine.
God.
Don't tell me that.
Let's pass that down to Kathy, please.
Your bag?
Thank you.
So now I just feel like I'm pinker than I want to be.
Then you can just neutralize it a little bit with your foundation. And then it just blends seamlessly between the pink, the brown, and then obviously we'll do highlighter at the
Can't
end.
even tell if
What? You can definitely
Yeah,
see it.
definitely.
I would probably come down a little bit lower, just more here. Tamron, do you have colour? Yeah?
Yep.
You need to blend yours.
Blend it.
Blend it up.
Up.
So when you do circular and then sweep. So circular, circular, and then sweep up. Because you don't want to have like brown, pink, highlighter. You don't want to do that. So you just
Okay.
blend it. Blending is our friend. We love blending.
You're making a Neapolitan ice cream.
Yes. I mean, that's not a
Brown.
great look.
Pink.
Okay.
If you need to remember the order.
Well,
Who feels like they can do this at home?
Give it a try.
Yeah. Who feels like they would need help at home if they were to do it?
And definitely
I mean,
practice a
maybe.
few times.
Yeah.
So next time I go in, I'm going to have to get some more stuff. Like I don't get that.
What? Do I look silly?
No.
Yeah.
Primer.
But do you think
Won't
you would
need
wear
your
this every
services
day?
anymore.
Would you wear this every day to work? Yeah. You feel like you could be confident in it?
Yeah.
What on earth was that? Those horrible neighbour children, I think. Okay. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to actually send me photos of you guys doing this when you get home or when you're next going to an event or something like that, because I need to see that you are taking away what you've learned today. And then in our next session we're going to do highlighter, brows and eyes. Is everyone happy with that? So start thinking about your colour palettes, your colour theory, and the things that you want to bring back. And if you want to try something independently before you learn it, send it to me because I want to see. Everyone happy?
Yeah.
Alright. I need to know. I was like, the time. I'm gonna have to chop it.
What is it?
Hi everyone, welcome to today's session. I'm Rebecca. I have been a makeup artist for over 10 years. And I love doing creative makeup and bridal makeup. So, for today's session, we've got a few things to get through. I'm going to apologise for my very hoarse voice. I do have a cold and I'm going to try and keep away from you all. But we have a few things to get through. We've got some housekeeping. If there is, for any reason, that we need to leave, there is obviously one exit. Depending where the emergency is, we will either go to the front of the property or to the back in the grassed area. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, to get started, we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up. Does anyone have any dad jokes? Because I do. We'll go around the room. I love a good dad joke. What do you call a three-legged donkey? Does anyone know? A wonky. It's the best dad joke ever. It's so corny. Alright, who else has one?
God.
What do you call a dog with no legs?
Oh, I don't know.
It doesn't matter, it won't come anyway.
Very good. Anyone else?
No.
No? Okay. I do have a funny joke though. What is something that you can get into shape without doing any exercise?
Funny joke.
Your brows. So, what we're doing today is we're doing this in this particular session. We're going to go over a bit of skincare, which we did last session. We're going to go over primers, and we're also going to go over foundations and bases. So we're going to do some colour theory. We're going to go over our skin tones. So I'm going to get you to have a good look at your own skin tones. We're going to do primers and colour corrections, and then we're going to select a foundation, and we're going to go over the brushes that we're going to use for our base. Okay, so who here knows what their skin type is? Does anyone know?
The lightest coloured product on the shelf.
No, your type.
Dry,
Dry,
but oily
oily.
T-section. T-zone.
Oh, do you think you're dry or do you think you're dehydrated?
What kind of dolls?
I feel like a lot of people think that they're dry, but really they are just super dehydrated. And you can be two different types of dry. You could be lipid dry, which is your oils, or you can actually have dry skin, which is lack of moisture. So what I'm going to get you guys to do is have a look at your skin. I want you to have a look at your pores. Obviously, we all have like pores all over our face, but where you have the most oil activity is where your pores will probably most likely be seen. So if you have very minimal pores throughout your face, you're obviously going to be more of a normal or dry type of skin. And then once we've decided whether we're oily, normal or dry, then we'll go over our skin conditions as well. So grab your mirrors to put them on.
Ready? Put them on from the back.
Oh, is that on turn off? Yeah, there's like a light switch at the back, and then there's like a, there you go. Actually, should we turn that light on? So can you just put that light on just so that,
Oh, that's
ooh, right in your face.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
So turn that on and now hit the button.
oh, I like
Is it on?
this.
Yeah, maybe yours is not working.
We've got another one. They do all have fresh batteries, but sometimes
Yeah,
we have a little person.
But like,
We have a little person that likes to turn them on.
like this is.
Let's have a look. And they have been used, so. Oh, there we go. There you go. But some of these are really quite funny about being touched. I don't know, the batteries are dead in that one. We will clearly my
It's
son
not
doesn't
just
have
me.
I said I'd like to say it's just you, but I actually believe you. So I was supporting you.
You're
It's
just
not
trying to
wrong.
psych me out. It's too early on the Sunday morning for your psychological.
Okay, alright, so who wants to tell me what their skin type is? Anyone? Having a little look? Because Megan's sitting at the front here.
So,
I think,
I'm hydrated today.
yeah, you are actually. Also, sometimes you can tell if you touch your skin like this and it's sort of more bouncy. So if it sort of pings back.
I'm just squishy.
Yeah, I know, that's a filler, right? That's a filler. I'm like, yes, no wrinkles. So yeah, if you've got that sort of bounce to your skin and your skin doesn't feel tight, you're probably going to be more of either a normal to oily. And then obviously, you know, throughout the day, if you weren't to wear any makeup or anything, do you get shiny? So who here gets shiny throughout the day? Yeah? Do you get shiny?
Not really.
No?
Do I get shiny?
So I feel like we're getting more. I know you do, Kathy.
I get shiny.
You get a little bit shiny, yeah,
Okay.
because you're more of an oily type. So I make sure I put
Slick.
I do Kathy's makeup, so I know how her skin reacts. Okay, so now we're going to go over skin conditions. Who here thinks they have a skin condition? Yep, Claire, you do.
As in, sorry, what do you mean by
So-
condition, sorry?
So skin condition, yeah, that's why I'm going to get to that. So a skin condition can be something like rosacea or breakout activity, comedones, which are your blackheads, which is just basically your pores getting blocked, or dry flaky patches, psoriasis, things like that, eczema. They're all skin conditions. So you have your main skin types and then you have your skin conditions. So for me, I do get a lot of redness through my cheeks. It's almost borderlining rosacea, but it's more broken capillaries. But I obviously get flushed very easily. Even though I'm oily skin, it does sort of look red and irritated sometimes. So I do have to be a bit careful and make sure I am hydrated and I'm not using products that irritate my skin. You can also have sensitivities to products in general, which is also a skin condition. So who here thinks they have a skin condition now? Yeah? And who has good skincare at home? Yeah? No? Who here moisturizes?
Did you say no?
I just
You
didn't
didn't
answer.
answer. Who here tones and cleanses?
A cleanse, I
I
don't know.
cleanse and exfoliate.
I cleanse, I don't tone anymore.
Yeah.
Toning is kind of one of those things that sometimes it's already in your cleanser, and a lot of cleansers now do that. And then that you do sometimes have the sprays. I feel like the sprays are almost null and void. It's just keeping your skin hydrated, so it's an extra step. And let's be real, not everyone has time to sit there and spray their face and do that before getting ready in the morning. So what kind of cleansers are we using? Do we know?
Mixed. I have a soft, so vitamin E based cleanser, and then I alternate every couple of days with it's like a face mask, toner, cleanser, tea tree oil based.
Oh,
And then
nice.
a scrub to
Okay.
sort of try and take off the dead stuff.
Yeah, you definitely want to be exfoliating, like all skin types want to be exfoliating at least once a week. Your exfoliator might be a gentle one, like a chemical one, like a peel based one or something like that where you sort of rub in, or it's going to be like a granular which will take off those dead skin cells. If you're a drier type, you might want to take off the flaky bits, and if you're a more oily type, you want to get in to those pores and make sure everything's clean. So depending on your skin type, you're going to take this home. Obviously we can't do that here right now, but we will I will get you guys to let me know if you think that what you've got at home is actually going to be working for you, because at the end of the day, your makeup will not sit well on your skin if it's not, your skin's not in a good healthy condition. And then obviously if you're doing the wrong skincare for your actual skin, you're going to cause skin conditions and you might not even realize, right? Okay, so are you all moisturized today? Yes? You've all, okay, we already established you don't wear moisturizer.
I'm glad you got that.
Okay, I'm gonna buy some for your birthday, I think, Min. I'm gonna buy you a little skincare bag. Okay, so now in your little packs that I've given you, we've got, not those ones, the sleeves, sorry.
The paperwork.
Your paperwork, which is quite a lot. I want you to go through and tell me what face shape you have. Or what face shape you think you have. That includes you, Amy.
Damn, I'm looking at it. Jeez, I always get called out in the class.
I know, because you're bad.
It's sitting at the back.
Yeah.
Only
In the
bad
naughty
kids,
corner.
And then that's it, that's her.
Because I'm almost guaranteed most people don't realise the face shape that they actually have. They think they have one or the other, and
I
it's
reckon I've got
usually
it round.
round. Let me have a look. Lift you. I need to see you. Yeah, actually, I'd probably say you would be more of a round. Yeah, you're right.
I can never decide if I'm long or oval.
I think oval.
And like, it's, if I'm trying to geometrically do that, it's maybe a touch pointy down there.
Yeah,
Halfway between things.
You could almost maybe even be a heart.
Well, so that's what I think. Like, so then it's not quite.
Yeah, I think because sometimes the hairline makes it look more heart, whereas you've got more of a round hairline. But that doesn't matter because that's just your hairline. And obviously to make it look more like a heart, they've maybe accentuated that widow's peak that they have there. What about you, Megan?
Oh, probably like oval.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so now I'm going to do some colour theory. So we'll leave this. Think about what your face shape is and how you feel about it. And when we get to our contouring, we'll change it. No, you think you can't, but you will be able to. We are going to change our face shapes because in the beauty world, the most ideal face shape is oval. That's what's deemed beautiful. It doesn't mean that anyone else's face shape is not beautiful, but that is what usually people strive to achieve. So obviously, if you don't have that face shape, what are you going to do? So we're going to change our face shapes a little bit with contouring and highlighting. And also then you're going to be able to take this home and obviously do it yourselves. And if you want to go out, you can make sure that your face is like chiseled the way that you want it. I mean, we can hide a multitude of sins without contouring. But okay, so now we're going to do some colour theory. So is there pens? Everyone's going to need a pen. Has anyone done their colours before?
Like what colours I should wear clothing.
Oh yeah, I've heard that's really good actually. And do you know what I noticed? I always wear black, and apparently that's not my colour. I know, I was like, what? I always wear black, slimming, but apparently navy is my colour, and I was like, I don't know about that. But anyway, okay, so I just want you guys to put your names on it. You might have to lift up your towels, that's more just so you did you bring your own pen?
No.
Prepared. I know, right? And then I want you to put in your hair colour, what your brow colour currently is, your skin tone, which will have a bit of, you might just have to wait if you don't know what your skin tone is. Some of you that do wear a bit more makeup will kind of know what your colour is that you're buying. Doesn't necessarily mean that's right. Your eye colour. And then we'll do like recommended lip colours and things like that once we do our colour theory. Hair colour ginger.
Well,
It's actually strawberry blonde, I feel, more.
it's got purple in it too now, so.
Yours is easy.
Hair. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because I feel like when you have red hair, I don't
There's
feel like...
different shades. Yeah.
Yeah, like my friend Karen. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel
Just one.
and I just put blonde in my hair recently.
Yeah, and I feel like, for me, I do feel like, yeah, there's auburn or copper or strawberry blonde, and everyone just goes, oh yeah, you're a redhead. So, and don't put your natural hair colour, put your actual hair colour that you have, because I know yours is lighter, and Kathy's has got some warm tones through it as well. Okay, so who knows their skin tone? No one? Do you know how you find... do you know how you find out if you are a warm or a cool? Does anyone know that? Okay, so if you look at your veins there, and your veins are more blue, Kathy, yours will be green, because you are very warm.
Oh, thank you.
It's because colour theory, what does blue, which your veins should be, and the gold tone make? It's green. So that's how you tell. It's a really simple way to tell.
So I can call her a green-eyed monster even more now.
Is she? Yeah, and if you're cool, then they'll be quite blue like mine. Obviously, I'm pretty much albino, but mine are very blue. Yeah, yeah, I'm translucent. I'm so pale.
Do you want to stand next to me?
No, you probably. I mean, I feel like because you do have.
My clothes.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so proud of my watch time.
So who here's got a warm skin tone? Did you look at yours?
Yeah. No, I'm cool. I've always been cool.
What about you, Cameron?
I don't know. I think
I
they're
feel like you have got a bit of a golden tone.
Yeah, you have a warm.
Yeah, warm. Okay, so now you can put that you're warm on your forms. Is that cool? Oh, yeah. Okay. So now, from that, you'll start to get your palettes for what the colours that are going to suit you are going to be. Okay, so who's got a blue eyes? Blue? You're blue as well. So on here, let me just have a look. So what's your opposite eye palette? Do you know for your colour? Do you know what the opposite of blue is? You're gonna die when I tell you. Do you know?
No, the opposites.
Yeah, there's opposites. So the opposite of blue is orange. I'll show you.
Really? I would never have gone.
Orange?
Yeah.
But that just means, what are derivatives of orange? You've got copper, you've got your tans, they all have orange bases.
Yeah.
So they're the colours that are going to best suit your eye colour. They're going to bring out the blue even more. If you want to go something that's similar to your eye colour, you're going to wear blues. Who here's got green eyes?
No, I've got hazel.
Got hazel? I think Tony, you kind of have hazel too, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys can pass these around. I'll take one down that side and one down this side. So your hazel is going to be more of your orange, maybe orange and yellow. So on here, the opposite two colours are blues and violets.
Oh, cool.
And then with brown, depending on your brown, which yours are actually quite a reddy brown, did you know that?
Yeah.
So what's going to be the opposite to you? Green. So if you want to keep in to bring out the brown and that redness,
Yeah.
you're going to use green tones.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like an ugly green. When I say those colours, you got to think of what is in the tonage of those colours. So you can have khakis, you can have that smoky grey green colour, and you don't have to do it on the whole thing, but if you want to bring out, so for me, I do have green eyes, so I have to wear reds and plums because it has that pinky red tone that will bring out the particular colour of my green eye, which is this yellow green. I don't have this like nice green, I have this colour green. So I've got red, violet, and I'll always use, hold on, this is a good palette to show. I'll always use colours like this.
11 minutes later.
Who knows what about contouring? Anyone know?
Framing the face, in the shadows of the face.
So, now that you know your skin tone and your colours, we're going to talk about the browns that we're going to use for your contour. So if you are a warm skin tone, are you still going to use an orange bronzer type for your contour? No, because no matter what your skin tone is, you want to use something with a grey base. Does anyone know why? Because it's a shadow creating. If you put warmth there, that's not a shadow. So we're gonna, no matter who you are, you're gonna have a similar, obviously if you're more of a darker skin tone, Kathy's probably our most tanned person here. You're not even that tanned. I mean, what's happened here?
Winter.
I know, right? She's still going to use something, but it will be a brown on that same level with a grey tonage. And it sounds disgusting. It really does. I'll show you one.
No, let me say that.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is really, that's too warm. But you want, see those two? They're quite greyish-y tones. You don't want anything too warm. And then obviously a bronze is completely different, which... Packaging looks the same these days. So that's, see how that's really warm? Like this is a bronzer, not a contour, because it's so warm. If you start adding warmth to the parts of the face that you want to be sort of shadows, it'll just look weird. You'll look like you've got brown randomly here. Okay, does that make sense? Anyone have any questions? No? Sounding good?
No, all good.
Okay, what happens if you have a lot of red in your skin? Do you want it there?
No.
Is it deemed...
No, I want to neutralise it.
Yeah, exactly. So, with our colour theory wheels, how are we going to neutralise it?
Blue.
Oh, this throat, I think
Blue.
you need it.
Green.
Green. Now, do you want a green foundation?
No.
No. So, if we're going to neutralise the red with the green, are we going to put something on before our foundation and blend it?
Yes.
Because we don't want the green showing through. We don't want a big blob of green on something. Now, how are you going to do that? Does anyone know the kind of products that you would use?
Isn't it like the colour corrector cream bases?
You can get a powder You can get like, so it depends on the actual redness and where it's located, but if you say have a really red pimple and you want to hide it, oh my god, I'm so sorry, then you're going to get maybe like a cream just for that one particular spot. If you have redness like me through this part of my face, I'm going to use a primer to correct it, a green primer, which I have here. And then, yeah, make notes if you want, because there's like a notes thing. And then you can also have your, like there's like, I don't have one, but there's sometimes like a swirly thing with a little bit of green in the actual, it's like a BB cream or a CC cream, or even sometimes in a bit of moisturizer. That can also help just reduce that little bit of redness and neutralize it. What happens if you have really blue under eyes? I'd have this problem because I'm so fair, everything shows. So when I'm sick, obviously like today, when I'm tired, again today, I throw a lot of darkness. Now, I don't want to look like I'm Gollum from Lord of the Rings, so I have to color correct it. So how would I do that? You're gonna have to look at these. Oranges. Now, do I want orange underneath my eye? Is it gonna look ugly? It's gonna look horrible, isn't it? So, again, color correcting. I think it's in my concealer. I'm gonna use something like this and then blend it out. And sometimes you have to layer things like this. So this is for one particular area. Pigmentation is orange. What color am I going to use? Color correct. Oh, brownie usually. Does anyone know? I'm going to use a purple tone. So you put that over your little pigmentation spots, and that will also help. Okay, so now we're going to talk about primers. Who wears a primer with their makeup? What kind of primer do you use?
White cream base. Well, I mean, it kind of.
Is it a silicone base? Is it what kind of?
I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah, get them out. Yours is a silicone base. Oh, I do like this one. I know this one.
I have a brand new one in here too.
Yeah, I actually have this one as well, and even for like a cheaper one, it's very, it's like a very mousse based.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have an array of primers, and I'm gonna pass them around. So we've got this one. Unfortunately, got murdered in my makeup kit.
Oh, Beck will know that one because she knows the whole one.
Oh, that would be good for. That's really good for a drier type skin, normal to dry. It's very nice. It's very light and creamy. Does anyone know the purpose of the primer?
Making smooth.
It's a double-sided sticky tape for your makeup. Obviously, when you put on a moisturizer, that's kind of got that slip to it. That soaks into the skin, but your skin will still have that little bit of slip. So the point of a primer is to act as double-sided sticky tape. So when you put another product on, such as like a thicker, creamier makeup, it's going to stick to your skin a little bit better. So when you're picking a primer, you want to choose something that does have that little bit of a tacky sensation. And when you put it on your back of your hand, you'll see there'll be that little bit of stickiness, which is perfect. So you're going to pass this around. This is the green one. Just put a tiny little dot, just so you can see, because that is a primer. I'll colour correct it now.
She likes to jump out at me. I can see the tiniest little smudge on it.
And then I've got a lightweight one. It's a light creamy one. So that's for a more of a drier skin type, but will still fill in some pores. And then this is a full silicone one. So this one I'm pretty sure is clear. Yeah, so that one's going to sit in your pores. And this one is a luminous one. So this one here has a little bit of shimmer through it. So sorry, I feel so rude for sniffing.
Yeah, but if I'm going to react to them, that's how I tell. I put them on the inside of my wrist.
So
That's how I
then,
do foundation shopping.
I've got two other types of primers. A eye primer, which is this one here. I've got a couple, but they tend to be a little bit different to a face primer. And the eye primer is quite waxy. Because does anyone know that their eyelids are actually more oily than the rest of their face? So when you put a powder on, it will start to budge. So you want to put something that's waxy consistency over that. So I'll pass that around. This is one for under a nude, but if you want a bold colour and make it really pop, you want a white one. Oh, what happened to the lid of this one?
That's here.
Oh. Funnily enough, my favourite one at the minute is this Morphe one, which is actually quite inexpensive. Like,
What you put
the
under
real
your
big trend
eye.
at the minute is glass skin. This really glossy looking skin. Not my favourite.
Is this to stop the black under your eyes?
It's to stop shadow falling out. So when you're doing an eyeshadow, some people use concealer. Some people, it depends on like who the person is that you're following or whatever. But you'll see like a lot of people don't want to buy like a separate product. Concealer, like a thick, chalkier concealer, is good. But you know, this is a waxy consistency. So if I was doing like a real smoky, heavy eye, I would put that on. Yeah. But most of the time, you can get away with just putting on a little bit of. I know you got an extra lesson there.
What?
Taylor's too busy gossiping. And then we've got this as well. So this is a lip primer. Because what happens is, the trend at the minute is obviously matte lips are quite on trend. If you put a really chalky, gross, thick product on your lips and you've got flaky, horrible lips, what's going to happen is it's going to sit and make it look even more dehydrated and gross. So you want to add like a lip primer. This one is a Napoleon one. It does have a menthol which tingles, so I do tend to warn my clients. But it's basically anything that's like a balm. It's quite thin. I'll pass it around as well. Anything that's a little bit of a balm will help. Just while you're doing the makeup, put something like this on. Obviously leave lips till last, wipe it off, and then do your lip product. But we'll go over that when we get to lips a bit later. Right. Who is okay with everything that we've learned so far? Any questions?
No.
No
Like
questions?
this and new products I hadn't even heard.
Yeah, I feel like makeup can be really overwhelming because there's so many different products and there's something different for every single thing. There are things that you can interchange, and I usually keep with like a good primer, good foundation, a good contour, but I'm a big palette person, so I'll get the contour, blush and highlighter for myself, like in a palette, and then that's one thing that you have to worry about. I mean, obviously I don't have that right now, but generally if I was just doing myself, I would just have that for myself, because you know what works for you. Obviously I have to have a range of things for everyone. Okay, so we're going to chat about foundations. Who wears what kind of foundation? Who wears a 24-hour drying, mattifying, you know?
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
I've got this one now. Sheer Glow.
Oh, so that's like a very hydrating one by the sounds of things.
Really, after all that.
Is it the matte version? Because I know they have two versions.
No.
I like mine on my
But you
table.
said you're dehydrated.
Well, it depends on the moisturizer.
Yeah, that's true. So, something I've started doing lately is not really wearing a foundation. I don't know why, but I think it's because I've gotten older. I am kind of over foundation and having to really pack it on and sponge it and all that sort of stuff. So I've started going more for a tinted moisturizer and then concealing through the areas that I want to conceal. I feel like for a day makeup, which is what we're going to do in a second, that is probably better. What have you got there?
24-hour foundation.
What does it say? Does it say mattifying or hydrating or? Amy might have to read it for Kathy. She's had too much to drink last night, I think. Does it feel chalky when you put it on, or does
clinical.
it feel hard, like
It
slippery?
says to leave skin feeling soft and smooth, so I don't know.
I would say probably a bit more hydrating. Yeah, as I've gotten older, I've found that even though I'm still oily through my T-zone, a lot of the rest of my face can have patches of dryness and dehydration. I don't drink a lot of water. I tend not to because I'm naughty. So I feel like I always start with a tinted moisturizer, and then I move on to, if I'm going out, say I'm going night clubbing, obviously a tinted moisturizer is not going to last. You'll be sweaty, you'll be horrible. If I'm doing something and I've got to wear it all day, it's not going to last. So if I'm, if I'm, say I'm going to, I don't know, out for the night to dinner, tinted moisturizer, fine, because I'm not moving around, I'm not going to be sweating, I'm not going to be getting oily. But obviously if I'm going to an event or something, I will use foundation, but only through that part of my face. I don't need to go out here, because you'd end up with that sort of foundation line, and you don't like that. It doesn't look nice, and you have to sort of blend it into your hairline, and then you end up with like weird foundation marks in your hair. Well, I do anyway, because my hair is a lot darker than my face. So I tend to start with a tinted moisturizer. So this one is a BB cream, and most of us are fair. I don't know if everyone can see that. See how just light that is? But it's also going to keep my skin hydrated. So if I do have those dry bits, it's going to give me a light skin tint. And then once I put powder on, because it's tacky, that will give me a bit more coverage. So most of us are going to be this colour, which is fair, which will blend with your skin. And Kathy, you are a medium. So if someone can just pass it out to Kathy.
I would have to be different.
No, it's good. I like different skin tones. I used to have, my old boss used to be Kenyan, and I loved working on her skin because it was a bit more challenging, because certain colours don't really show up. But you know what's really great? You can skip a bunch of steps because they don't throw pigments like fair skins do. So that was something I really loved. But then you get to use really deep plums and all that sort of stuff that I could never wear, which I love. I love those colours. So I love a darker skin tone for those reasons, not as much to correct. So see how light it is and how much it blends with your natural skin tone, and it just gives you a little bit of coverage. So when
So when would you use this one?
What?
When would you use this? Just
if you're going out for a day, for work, I use it under everything, to be honest, because I find that the mattifying ones, I get really dry after a little while. They just start to suck up my oil, and then they go like claggy, and I don't like that feel, and that kind of stops it. So I put that on, and then I put a bit of foundation through my T-zone and blend it out. And then it stops that weird line that you tend to get when you just do a full thing. Okay. I'm gonna get you guys to do a stripe test to see how good your foundation is. I want to see how well it blends. So grab your foundations.
I like mine at home.
We can use one from here if you want. Yeah, you guys are fairly well sisters, so of course you're gonna have a similar.
That's my unopened one.
It's very simple.
Pardon?
So grab our foundation, and I want you to do one stripe just on this part of your face.
With my finger, a brush,
Yeah.
or a sponge?
Just a finger. You don't want much because we're gonna. I just want you to colour match it and actually see.
On my contact.
Just along your cheek.
Oh, is it not opening?
Because you really want your foundation to match your neck colour.
Found it.
And you want to leave it there for a sec as well. Yeah. It's a little bit warmer than your face, but actually matches your neck.
Yeah.
Which is exactly right. Okay, yeah, a little refresher. Sorry, where'd you put your stripe? Oh yeah, yeah, very, very similar. I mean, the good thing is that most people, they have lighter faces and darker necks, but when I'm so pale, mine is pretty much all one. So when you're fair and you don't go in the sun. Yeah, yours is a very good match as well. So yours has a bit of a golden glow when you've got a little bit of redness through your cheeks.
Yeah.
So that will help neutralise the redness, because
Yeah.
the yellow will help neutralise a little bit of that redness, and make it sort of more even across. But what is it like when you put powder on? Does it not seem as yellow, like when it's set?
Yeah, my powder I've got lighter than this.
Okay, so that's another thing that you
So
can do.
if I've got a foundation that's a little bit orangey, like a little bit darker, it will.
Yeah, and of course, because we have different colours from season to season.
Yeah.
You know, in winter everyone loses their tan. I don't tan at all, but you lose your tan. So you don't want to buy like a summer and a winter colour unless you've got a massive difference. So you can actually just change it up with your powder, because you go through powder usually more than you go through your foundation. All right. Now, let me just go and double check what I want you guys to do. Right, now, who's going to be my model? I want to do a demonstration with the primer and matching foundation and concealer.
Okay, fine.
Yeah?
You want me to?
Sure. Well, you're the closest.
Give me a foot on your stool.
Yeah, is that okay? So, oh, you're a good height for me. I'm going to try not to break you because I know you're a health worker. Right, so, I know I'm going to keep far away.
I'm on night shift this week.
Are you? Oh, gosh. So, where's your primer? I might
I've got that, but I've got a new one too.
That's fine. I know this is a pain to push out.
I know, and when it gets cold, it turns into concrete.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Megan's one, and it's really quite thick, but also it's got that little bit of a tint, which does help take out any redness in her skin. Where are your brushes?
Hmm?
Where are your brushes? Okay, while we're doing this, I'm going to get you guys to look at your brushes. That's fine. I'm not judging your brushes because you're using them on yourself, but if you were to use them on someone else. Okay, so for a primer, the kinds of brushes that you want is something like this, which is what I would go on to use for foundation, or if it's one of those primers that's like quite runny, I'd probably use something like this to really get in and around. But because this is a thicker one, this one needs to kind of be buffed into the skin. And with primer, you always want to start in the areas that have the most, that you'll need the most coverage obviously, but also where there's the most pores, which is across your nose and your cheeks and this little part of your forehead, and then sweep out. And because this one is one that needs to be buffed in, I'm just doing circular motions. Now this brush, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is synthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know how I know without even having to use this one? It's got a dual colour for one. I know animal really has hair like that, but usually the synthetic fibres feel really soft. I mean, obviously animal hair does, but I'll show you an animal hair one. They tend to have like kinks. This is an animal hair one. They tend to have like little bits of kinks because it's real hair. Like it obviously has been treated and things like that, but it does. And it doesn't matter. You can have cruelty free, or you can have something that is real hair. It doesn't really affect the makeup application too much, but it is important to know where your brushes come from, especially if you do have animal allergies, because you have an animal allergy and then you go use this brush on a hairbrush on your face, you might have a reaction. Sorry, I'm just trying to be so far away.
No, you're okay.
Right, and now your foundation, because Megan's is actually a very, very good match. Because it matches her neck, not so much her face, because she has this sort of pinkness through her cheeks, which is fine.
Nervous.
Why are you nervous? You think I'm judging you or
We're all
something?
watching.
Yeah.
I'd be so much redder right now if I was there, and I'm like, I'm already red.
That's me as well. I'm a very red person too.
So Beck, can you use the same brush
Yeah, for sure. I'm one of those kinds of people that keep it simple, silly. You know that old kiss, yeah. And I do things like that because you don't want to be cleaning 500 brushes if you do makeup on someone else. You want to make it pretty much as easy for yourself as possible. And obviously your primer is already on your face, so it won't matter too much if it's on. But obviously you're not going to use this brush in a powder because it's now got a liquid in it. So you do have to kind of change things up. And again, buffing it into Megan's skin because she does have some little pores there and we want it to stick, and really doing circular motions to buff in. And less is more. I don't know if you noticed, but I've put like the smallest amount on and then I've put it in a T-zone and then worked outwards. Because we're going to start with the day makeup. And obviously we don't want it too heavy.
When does concealer come in?
After, yes. Some people do concealer before. I'm not really a big fan because if you do concealer before, you don't know how much your foundation is actually going to cover. So then you're putting on more product than what you probably need to. And it's okay for like Americans to be like that because their weather's not like ours. Our weather is hot and humid most of the time. And even our cold is not really that cold. So if you're going to put on all this product in a couple of hours time, you'll probably sweat it off in summer. And even in winter, if you're in a warm environment like that's heated, it's going to be, again, you're probably going to sweat it off. I'll get your hands off on it.
While we're here buffing foundation into my face, brush versus sponge.
It depends on what you feel, I suppose. I'm not a fan of the sponges. I don't know why, but on my skin, personally, I feel like it takes a lot off because I am naturally oily.
Okay.
So I find the sponge soaks up a lot of the product, whereas the brush doesn't soak up as much. So it kind of depends on your actual foundation. Is your foundation quite a liquidy one? Because guess what? That's going straight in that sponge and you're going to get less on your face.
Yeah.
And if you have an oilier skin that has that slip, it's going to keep coming off.
Yeah. Because
I end up with like sponge round marks. And I swore by them for ages and I'm going back to brushes. Now I'm like,
why did I ever change?
Yeah, because it was trend, I still have them. I still have sponges in my kit, but I tend not to use them as much. Okay. So, we've done it. Very much coverage. Yeah.
Do you just go over the eyebrows or do you try and avoid going over the eyebrows?
If someone has like black eyebrows and a very fair skin, obviously I'm not going to go there. But because this is like very light, I've actually gone just under her brow bone as well and just done a light sweeping. Just so there's a bit more coverage and I'm not going to have to, because this is another stupid Instagram trend. Those real heavily concealed under the eyebrow trend. I don't know why people do it. Honestly, it's awful and it adds a lot of product there, which is then a lot of product that can smudge or get oily, get creasy, look cakey. You don't want to me, makeup should look more natural and not feel like you're wearing makeup. I hate feeling like I'm wearing makeup. So yeah, we've got a pretty decent coverage. If you want to, I mean, this is for day, remember, but say if she was going out, you would build that up. So you would do this and then build a little bit more. So I'm gonna put this one down. Now we're gonna talk about concealer, because concealer works better when you sort of describe it. So concealer. We want, Megan has just turn your head for me. I don't know if you guys can see, but can you see that little bit of blue and a little bit of blue here?
Yeah.
So we want to hide that because obviously that makes it look tired, which probably is. Where's your concealer brush? What do you use for concealer? You tell me.
I use my sponge.
You use your sponge, okay.
I feel free to use my brushes.
Feel like. I don't know. I'm gonna use my one.
Okay.
So I use, if I can find it, sorry, I'm just going to
Getting
switch
short
it.
up.
No, it's just because I'm very particular about my concealer brush. It's a bit worse for wear, it's 10 years old, but obviously this is a synthetic hair, so it has lasted very well, and it looks very sad. Yeah, it's like a kind of, it's like a pinched brush, and the pinched makes it quite flat, so you can really get in there. Oh, my nose is dripping. And it's not fluffy, so oh my gosh, I'm just gonna put this over here. Actually, you guys will probably use that. Now, this is a very peachy tone, and obviously doesn't match her skin tone, but it's going to counteract that blue.
Give me the brush.
All right, thank you. So I want to get the brush quite loaded. Okay, and I'm going to get her to look up with her eyes to the ceiling. And I'm going to come in. Now, if you have an older skin with fine lines, or even someone who's just dehydrated with fine lines, you want to not put too much product there. She's talking to me. I'm talking to myself. I have fine lines there too.
My boobs are hanging out. Well, we've all got
Those on me. And then we want to come in here and just colour correct that as well. So I'm going to get you to look close for me.
Look at the difference that's made.
Yeah. So now Megan looks like she's actually had a lovely night's sleep. And you just see what a difference that makes, just hiding that.
Just painted black on me, didn't you?
Yeah.
You look like someone's punched you.
Well, on the other eye, she kind of does now, yeah. So the thing with concealers, obviously they're quite like thick because the product is covering. So you want to blend it out with. You're actually very warm.
Yeah.
Is it warm in here for you?
No, I just run hot sometimes.
You're always hot. But yeah, so you want to blend that out with your ring finger, because that's the one that has the lightest pressure, and because you don't want to use anything that's like heavy-handed around the eye area. It's a very delicate area, thin skin. So you want to actually blend that out. I'm only going to do one eye so you guys can see the difference. And then, and now what about that? You're going to have to do the other eye. So, that's not fair. That means you're a step ahead of everyone else.
That's very interesting, isn't it? You don't realise.
So now, because obviously it's got that orange tone, we need to colour correct the orange tone back to her skin. But what we want to do is we want to make it a little bit brighter. So, I'm going to use something that's quite light compared to her skin tone, and I'm going to do what's called the Hollywood V. So it's going to lift up. So, we want to put a little bit there, down past her orbital bone, and then back up. So, a V. And then we want to blend. You have a hair? Where? Yes, I see it. Good. And now, because you've still got a bit of pigment, just close for me. In the inner eye. There. I'm just going to blend that.
Not like 5 minutes out the door.
Yeah.
Trust me, you can get it done in about 20 minutes. Like, if you're just going to do it basic. Look, obviously we're taking a bit more time.
I'm like 20 minutes in the morning.
Okay. Sorry, let me just have a look at you. Let me have a look at yourself. And see how that's just lifted that whole eye area. So without actually even adding any contour, you're already changing that face shape to have that sort of drawn out look and make it look brighter. Do you feel like your eyes like tired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One eye looks really bright. And the other one's
yeah,
really
It looks
dark.
different.
Yeah, massive difference. And it because the darkness here, that makes that look sunken in as well. So that's the part of the problem, is that now that eye looks sunken in and the other eye looks like almost flush.
Yeah.
And even when you're dehydrated, your eyes sink in a little bit, that darkness.
You don't realise what's doing
Alrighty. Now you guys are going to do this to yourselves. Do you want to use this brush? So, I want you guys to put in a primer. I want you guys to put in your foundations because you have all this stuff.
Sorry.
I don't have a primer.
I don't come across.
Do you want to use one? What kind of primer do you think that you would like?
Anything. I put on Clinique's Moisture Surge. But like you were just saying, if you put like a moisturiser on or foundation, it'll probably be all slippery underneath your
Yeah, and then you'll find that your makeup kind of transfers a lot. Yeah. Try that one. That's a hydrating and blurring, but it won't. It's not. I don't find it's too much because if I put something that's really like hydrating my skin,
it would be all
Let me know if you want anything. I'm passing you some brushes.
No.
Yes.
No. Hang on. I don't have a primer or a brush because I don't have.
Yeah, try that. That's I use that primer on you. Yes. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Pass it down. She's doing it.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
Don't be a witch.
That is the nicest term I've ever heard.
Yeah, but I just wear basic.
Yeah, so with this green primer,
Shows you I pay attention.
so you just want less is more. It's more color correction, not an actual primer. So
do primer first, then this, or is this actually?
this is a primer too, but I would probably put this on, blend it out in the spots that you want to blend it out, and then do a primer over the top. But when you do your primer on the top, don't swipe, right? So you want to kind of just buff into the skin because it'll help
I
buff
don't
that.
have a brush.
Gosh,
You do.
No, that was your brush.
that's your brush. This is my favourite brush for my oily skin. See how that's really full, that brush? That's really good for oily skin. To really buff the product in. Yeah, that's right.
If we wanted you to get some brushes, you can get them for us.
Yeah, sure. Because I have my supplier, and my supplier is quite a bit cheaper than what you guys would buy. It depends on the brush. Morphe, obviously, I still have to pay. That is a Morphe brush, but I wait till the sales. So if I see a sale and you want a particular brush, I'll make sure I wait for the sale and tell you. Or I can buy it for you, and then I'll just give it to you and tell you what the price was. Because Morphe is at Mecca. But they just had a sale on brushes. $278 marked down to $130 for a full brush set. So I was like, that's more than half price. So I was like, yeah, I'm down for that. But I didn't buy it because I was like, I already have enough brushes. I have like 2.5 sets. Okay, so foundation's on.
I use too much concealer.
Blend it out with your finger. Blend.
Yeah.
That is the key to makeup, blending. Yeah, I know, your poor delicate eye area.
No, not very nice.
I know. Come on. Just a little bit, just for me.
So can I use this for my foundation? Or
Yeah.
Instead of, okay.
You're working everything into your skin. You really need to push product. Because if you're just swiping and then getting another brush and just swiping, you're not actually putting the product into the skin. You want to push it into the skin.
Okay, so I might get you to get.
Oh, there's that neighbour's child. Into the T-zone and really buff it in.
It's true.
Huh?
I'm laughing at myself because, you know, I don't know about everybody else, but who's got in the morning, it's like,
No, but I honestly, like, once you find a technique that works, and these techniques will work, and you won't, do you know what I hate? When I start doing my makeup and I'm like rushing it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, it looks terrible. That does happen to me. It still happens to me sometimes. I'm just like, my skin's not working for me. Like, my makeup's sitting on my skin weird.
I like this brush.
That's my favourite one. Don't steal my brush. No, that is actually honestly my favourite brush. This one is also good. Whichever one I just. Oh, the one that Amy has. That one's really good as well. Yeah, because it's a jewel, so it's got two forms. It's got the real hair and then the synthetic hair. The synthetic hair is the white hair, and the other hair is the.
Like that, but I just realised this is more nicer.
Yeah, I think because it does really work it into your skin, and it has got that quite intense packing of the bristles. It works, yeah.
So going on to concealer.
Go into concealer. You just do as you need to. I feel like I've gone way over. Can we just have a little look at the time then? I feel like it's 40 minutes evenly.
56.
Oh my gosh. I may as well just do the 2 back to back maybe.
So how long are you meant to do?
40 and 40. But I've kind of ended up doing back to back, which is what I was going to do anyway, but I was going to break it down into the 2 40s. But it's fine.
Just keep going.
Oh, I do
Yeah.
like this.
I might just stop, cut it, and make that a new clip, and then make the other clip.
Is that better?
Make sure you're blending in your neckline as well, because you want to definitely sweep it down to make sure it's blended.
So, question. So I have this like dry bit right, like I've always had it. And
Yeah, I have a bit like that on my cheek as well.
Yeah.
Just this one.
yeah, so I find like dermaplaning and stuff helps that. But is there anything else I can do? Like,
What's your skincare regime? Do you have a retinol?
no,
Probably not.
no.
It's because you're quite young still, you probably wouldn't be
No.
thinking about retinol. But retinol helps with cellular turnover.
Okay.
So that might help, and it might just be that part of your acid mantle is compromised, because your
Yeah.
acid mantle is like what is
Yeah.
on top of your skin.
Yeah.
And if you have like, and that's what mine is,
I feel like yours is easier
skincare
than
will
mine.
help fix it.
Okay.
Because I notice when I'm bad with my
That's
skincare,
right.
that will definitely my cheek becomes worse.
I know.
I
I just
just
use
making
wow,
sure you're
concealer on my
hydrated,
spots usually. I
making
don't
sure you've
actually
got
use it.
No.
I've already figured out.
skincare, so vitamin A, E and C. Obviously E is in moisturiser, but you see vitamin in the morning,
Yeah.
A at night, because the two of them kind of work against each other, and A works better when your skin is in moisturiser.
Yeah.
And that might help. Might help. It might not. It might just mean that
I
that's your
find-
skin, and that's like maybe like a section of your skin that just doesn't want to conform. Might be that.
I find using sponges and stuff actually reduces the.
Isn't it
Yeah.
funny what your mind does to
I mean, I feel like it's
even if
I can see it. I can see it, but it's probably if you've had dermaplaning
How
recently, it's
dark
probably
they were the
why.
other day. I went home and scrubbed them
No,
to get them down.
I think it's pretty good at the minute. Like my cheek's pretty good, but I feel like they usually get worse in summer.
Yeah.
It's because of the heat, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
But
is
with less
Can you
products.
still buy these?
the one concealer. I'm pretty sure you can still buy the one concealer because it was such a good concealer. I like the fact that it's creamy but not drying, because when you're older and you use a drying one underneath your eyes, it makes it go so creepy. And that's creamy and not too drying, but not too creamy that it still goes in the creases. So that's why I like that one so much. And they have the dark orange and then they have the fair, which is what I use. The dark orange is too dark for me. Yeah, but then you have to color correct it. That's the only problem. Kathy is very lucky she could use that fair one as her because she's so golden. That all in one for her. Yeah, the one concealer is amazing. Okay, so everyone's done their foundation. All right. Does anyone need to have a drink or anything?
Yeah, maybe.
Like, no one needs to get up and move around.
I would like to get up and move around if I
Yeah.
can
Okay,
pause
that's good.
for
That's good. Yeah. You want to take a break? We'll just pause that.
my hips getting sore.